Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me today. Braun Strowman is teasing that he has multiple contract offers on Twitter. He tweeted out choices, choices, choices. I guess in reference to he's got a lot of offers on the table. This is WrestleTalk.com says it was reported last week that the WWE themselves were interested in bringing the monster among men back into the fold. As for All Elite Wrestling, Mark Henry confirmed that there was interest on both sides and that he was super high on Henry's list of potential signings. So first off, let's talk about the WWE expressing interest in bringing Braun Strowman back into the WWE. My question would be, and Braun Strowman's question should be, why the hell would you have released me in the first place if all you want to do is just bring me back? Well, maybe they'll offer him they'll lowball the contract or something. Maybe they think that Braun Strowman won't sign with another company. He has indicated in the past that it's either the WWE or nothing. That word for word, but he did indicate that something along those lines in the past. But if I was Braun Strowman, I would be saying to myself, why the hell would they have released me in the first place if all they want to do is bring me back, after a couple of months? I would say that's BS. And I would do what Malakai Black did, because I know there was interest in the WWE in bringing Malakai Black back in after they released him, saying, "Oh, it might have been a mistake letting him go." Well, it's too bad. You let him go. He signed with AEW. I think Braun Strowman. If I was Braun Strowman, I would do the same thing. I would say, "Too bad, you released me. Why would I want to go back there? Why would I want to go back to a place that released me that didn't have enough faith in me to keep me in the first place? Maybe they were cutting costs or whatever, but I wouldn't want to go back if they release me, especially Mark Henry. Mark Henry seems to be very high in bringing Braun Strowman into AEW, and believe you me, Tony Khan could pay a nice amount of money to bring Braun Strowman. I think Braun Strowman. I think AEW should be the front runner. If I was Braun Strowman, I would tell the WWE, thanks but no thanks. You had me, but you blew it. You blew it. I would like Robert De Niro. You blew it. What movie was that? Was Copland. That was Copland. You had your chance, but you blew it. That's what I would. If I was Braun Strowman, that's what I would say when Vince McMahon or Triple H calls me up and say, "Well, we want to bring you back." Oh, you had your chance, but you blew it. You let me go. Tony Khan's got a contract. I got to go sign. I'm headed over there now to sign the new contract. Mark Henry's going to be there. We're going we're going out for a big meal afterwards. Me and Mark Henry, we're going to we're headed to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Me and Mark Henry, and we're gonna just rip that crap apart, man. We're gonna rip that place apart in celebration of me signing a new contract. No, but again, if I was Braun Strowman, I wouldn't want to go back to the WWE. But then again, Braun Strowman decides what's best for Braun Strowman. But he could very well, maybe his heart is with the WWE. Maybe he never wanted to leave in the first place. Maybe he wants to go back. Maybe he ends up back. But if it was me personally, I wouldn't want to go back, especially if you had me, but you released me. Right? You decided, hey, you know what? We're going to release Braun Strowman. I was like, it was me. I definitely signed with AEW. I wouldn't want to go back. Vickie Guerrero. Vickie Guerrero is pushing for AEW to sign Ruby Riott, who goes by Ruby Soho now. That would be really, really good signing for AEW. It would really bolster that women's division. I know Vickie Guerrero had indicated that she's looking to start a women's faction in AEW, and I believe Ruby Riott or Ruby Soho, she said, would probably be a part of that faction. SC Scoop saying All Elite Wrestling talent Vickie Guerrero has expressed interest in seeing former WWE superstar Ruby Riott sign with AEW. Since leaving WWE, Riott's last name has changed to Ruby Soho. She appeared on the Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast to discuss various topics regarding AEW. When asked what unsigned talent she would like to see signed to AEW, Vickie Guerrero said Ruby Soho. So I would love to see Ruby Soho. I think there's a lot of potentially really good matchups for Ruby Soho, aka Ruby Riott in AEW. I think it would be a great signing. Again, it will bolster their women's division. But I think Impact Wrestling is also going to be a player for Ruby Riott. I just have this gut feeling that Impact Wrestling is going to get in there and they're going to sign Ruby Riott or Ruby Soho to a contract. But wherever she ends up, Ruby Riott is a great talent, whether it's AEW or whether it's Impact Wrestling. Wherever she ends up, could be Ring of Honor, could be NWA, but wherever she ends up, she's a great talent. She's going to be definitely an asset to whatever promotion she signs, their women's division. She's definitely going to be an asset for the women's division, again, for any promotion that she signs with. But Vickie Guerrero seems to be pushing to get her into AEW. It seems like everybody wants. It seems like AEW is the talk of the town lately, and CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Vickie Guerrero are trying to get Ruby Riott. Mark Henry wants to bring in Braun Strowman, as I mentioned earlier. AEW, and look at the ratings right now. WWE Raw, the last episode got 1.8 million viewers. AEW got 1.1 million viewers. So 700,000 viewers behind WWE Raw right now. And to think when CM Punk and Daniel Bryan make their debuts, my goodness, those ratings are going to go through the roof. And AEW could become the #1 wrestling promotion right now. Well, not right now, but they could become the #1 wrestling promotion in the future, I should say. So WWE better, they better stop with all those releases because they got Malakai Black. He's going to be a star in AEW. Braun Strowman likely to sign with AEW. Again, he could go back to the WWE, but AEW might be a destination. He hasn't decided yet. CM Punk, like as I mentioned, Daniel Bryan going to AEW. So AEW is really, really pushing hard to become the #1 promotion in the world right now. They can say the United States, but in the world, and they could potentially get there. They could potentially get there. Now I mentioned Malakai Black. Malakai Black has mentioned that he would he would love to have a run in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think this would be absolutely fantastic. Malakai Black in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now he's with AEW, of course. He signed the contract, but it could be a contract much like Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley was wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Malakai Black could definitely head over there. A lot of potentially great matchups for Malakai Black. Just think about Malakai Black against Sonata, Malakai Black against Kota Ibushi, Malakai Black against Minoru Suzuki, Malakai Black against Tomohiro Ishii, Malakai Black against Hiromu Takahashi, Malakai Black against Kazuchika Okada, Malakai Black against Jeff Cobb, Malakai Black against El Desperado would be a great one. Malakai Black against the Great O'Khan, against Will Ospreay. A lot of potentially great matchups for Malakai Black in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he says he would absolutely love a run in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And SE Scoops was reporting on this. It says when he was doing a recent appearance with the Wrestling Perspective, Malakai Black talked about his long-term dream to work over in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I could definitely see it happening. I could definitely see Tony Khan saying, giving him permission to head over there. New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, they have the working agreement right now. Right now, Lance Archer, AEW's Lance Archer is the IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, which is New Japan Pro Wrestling's US title. So an AEW star has it. Lance Archer, formerly with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't think he's with them anymore, but that's not saying he can't head on over to Japan to defend it. But again, it's a U.S. title, so he's probably going to defend it in the U.S. But I could definitely see Malakai Black working out some sort of agreement to head over there and work in Japan. I know Daniel Bryan, the rumor was him signing with AEW was due to the fact that he's going to be allowed to work in Japan as well. So maybe Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson and Malakai Black could travel together on whatever airline they choose and head on over to Japan and wrestle in Japan like they want to. But Malakai Black, I would love to see him in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Lots of great potential matchups for Malakai Black in New Japan Pro Wrestling. As I just ran down the list, there's other potential. Tetsuya Naito will be a great opponent for Taji Ishimori would be a great opponent. Robbie Eagles would be a great opponent for Malakai Black. Lots of potentially great. El Phantasmo versus Malakai Black would just be fantastic. So again, lots of potentially great matchups for Malakai Black in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll love to see him have a run in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I really do feel that we are going to see that in the near future. I wouldn't be surprised if watching a show on New Japan Pro Wrestling World, the lights during the show, lights go out, they come on, and Malakai Black's in the ring. That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. MLW hypes an upcoming Fusion Alpha miniseries set for August debut. Another show, MLW Fusion Alpha. It's going to be a 4-part series. WrestleZone reporting here. Major League Wrestling issued the following hyping its upcoming MLW Fusion Alpha miniseries, which is set to debut this August ahead of the fall season of MLW Fusion. Says Major League Wrestling today announced MLW Fusion Alpha, a 4-part weekly miniseries arriving in late August. As I just said, prelude to the fall season of Fusion. Alpha will feature exclusive marquee championship fights, first time ever encounters, shadowy agendas, and new arrivals. Fusion Alpha will serve as a bridge to the new season. This is going to be great. It's a 4-part series. It's a 4-part teaser series for the actual Fusion series, and I'm intrigued by the first time ever encounters and marquee championship fights. So is Alexander Hammerstone going to cash in his Battle Riot 3 win and go after Jacob for 2? Who knows? Who knows? It could happen. Somebody else going to challenge Jacob for 2, maybe Calvin Tankman. Maybe EJ and Duca will challenge Jacob for 2. I think that would be the match I think everybody wants to see. EJ and Duca just absolutely blew everybody away. He was just fantastic in Battle Riot 3. Absolutely would love to see Jacob Fatu defending the MLW heavyweight title against EJ and Duca. But I don't think that match is going to happen just yet. I believe and Duca is going to feud with Tankman. They kind of teased that, and they kind of built that up a little bit in Battle Riot 3. So I think that's the first feud there for Nduka against Calvin Tankman. Should be a great feud if I'm right. But I'm very excited. Another show for MLW miniseries, 4-part miniseries. I guess it's going to be available on YouTube. Oh, that's good news. It's going to be available on YouTube. It doesn't say it arrives late August on the YouTube channel, streaming worldwide on demand. It says this miniseries will also be available on additional platforms with more information to be revealed in the days ahead. So great news for MLW fans, because MLW this season is going to be absolutely fantastic. If you listen to my last podcast, I reviewed Battle Riot 3, which was fantastic. Lots of new, fresh talent coming in. Court Bauer, great eye for talent, brought in a lot of great guys. I'm looking forward to the new season of MLW. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to me today. I'm Lewis Carlin. This is Shooting Up North. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.